Okay. Hello people, welcome back. Welcome back. It's been a while. For videos and for reviews. So let's do it. We're gonna talk about Durarara Season 2, Part 2, Episode 1. Fuck. Okay, so this second part, the first episode of the second part, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Anyways, this episode, for all intents and purposes, was very set up-ish. If anything, it's pretty much, it's based on the preview for the next episode. It's obviously an episode that is setting up for things that will be further explained in later episodes. A lot of it is just kind of, and ironically enough, this episode literally takes place a day after the end of last season. Man, this is gonna get confusing. It's like a day afterwards after everything happened. So it's technically, from what I understand, it's like a day off for a lot of people. The few things I thought were the most interesting about everything was we get some more information on Yodo Giddy. I gotta get back into the groove, so I apologize. Yodo Giddy. Apparently he has pretty much the same occupation as Isaiah, meaning he does literally the same shit Isaiah does, which then makes it more interesting because it sounds like Isaiah was stepping on his turf and he was like, "Bruh, what you doing? Do you think you better than me?" Shunk. He's like, "Oh shit." We find out that that's how Shinra's father got the information about Saika and Rudy and all that other shit. And I don't know how you can tell, but apparently his father can tell if someone's been slashed by Saika because he notices that Igor, who was slashed by Saika, and you're kind of like, how can you tell? Is there like a mannerism there? Up until this point, the only thing that really gives it off is the glowing red eyes, which come on whenever the fuck Henri feels like cutting it on. The other thing is Akabayashi and Henri meeting up for a second, and also Akane hanging out with Isaiah's sisters. When the fuck did they become cool? It's been like a day. Also, apparently Verona works. I'm not totally sure. The opening and scenes make me think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Verona works for works for like Tom and Shizuo. They're like, the way it's presented in the opening, even in the ending when you got the stack of the characters, Verona's like right there under Shizuo, and you're like, well, actually she's under Akane, but it's like she's right around the Akane Shizuo line, which would make sense. I mean, she was doing some shit she shouldn't have been doing. She was working for There's also two Yodo Giddys, which I believe is the last name, which means the Yodo Giddy that we see Shinra's dad talk to is like the Yodo Giddy who stabbed Isaiah's father, I guess. And he's dealing with some shit that you shouldn't be fucking with, I guess. How deep does that go? I don't know. I mean, how much worse can it get? Also, it seems like Seiji and Mika are going to become a forefront characters again, which is interesting because they haven't been relevant since like the first part of the first season. And even then, they weren't really relevant for right reasons. They were just relevant for the fuck of it. You were sitting there like, oh, so it's a very weird-ass relationship between older sister, younger brother, and girl who just happens to have a face that looks similar to Salty's, which his sister only did, so he wouldn't be obsessing over Salty's head, because people gotta remember that it's still a plot point. It's just not as relevant because Salty doesn't give a shit as much. Speaking of that, cute Salty Shinra date, even though we see very little of it. Although the relationship with Isaiah and Shinra is hilarious, because I would love, and I hope it happens at some point, where Isaiah, or I mean not Isaiah, but Shinra and Shizuo are just like, you know what, maybe we should work together and just kill this motherfucker. Cause he trolled the shit out of him. He was like, oh hey, it's Isaiah. Oh hey, it's Shinra. Bye Isaiah. Hey man, I got stabbed. Oh, damn. Bye Isaiah. And then the fucking cops call back and he's like, you son of a bitch. So that was funny as hell. I'm also curious to tell who's coming up with the plans now, because a lot of me, I personally think it's Aoba that's coming up with the future plans for, you know, Mikado and the dollars and the blue squares and shit. At the same time, I feel like Mikado's doing some stuff too, because you see him interact with Mika and Seiji. Is that her name? Yeah, Mika and Seiji. And then in the preview for the next episode, they're actually the interaction goes further than what we see in this episode. So I'm like, is he setting up for something? And then you see Aoba at the end of this episode come to meet Shinra and Salty, and I'm like, well, is that setting up for something? So that's interesting. I'm pretty sure this will be the season we get the information on Aoba and his brother that apparently is in the opening. You see him for a split second. So we need to talk about the backstory. Also, I don't understand, they still haven't really explained the Izaya sisters' relationship with Aoba, because we know that they've been hanging around Aoba because the Blue Square members have mentioned them. So it's like, they've been hanging around Aoba, and that means they know what Aoba does, or at least a general idea of it. And I don't know, and from what I understand, his sisters are supposed to be like Aoba's kind of way of changing as a character. How that actually comes about, I don't know yet. What else? Oh, and then I guess I should talk about the Izaya thing. I thought it was interesting that this episode makes a callback to like some of the first episodes in the first season, with the whole Izaya hanging out with girls who are committing suicide or trying to commit suicide. Actually, one of the girls in this episode that I didn't realize is actually, well, two girls in this episode are from the first season. The one with them in like the karaoke room, I don't remember them specifically. I don't know if that's actually in the first season or not, or if that was something that was thrown in here. I have a guess that it is, but you know, I don't know. I did find it funny as hell. They introduced this girl with the glasses who wants to kill him because he pretty much tricked her and lied to her about, oh, you're not killing yourself. I just drugged you. And granted, it's not like Izaya did anything with him. I don't remember. Like, I think he just did that because people got to remember, Izaya's just naturally demented. I mean, for God's sake, he wanted to create a war just to see if something would happen to Celti's head. Like, it's obvious he likes fucking with humans because he likes the reactions humans give him, even though he himself are humans. That's why I do like, and for some reason I enjoyed his little thing at the end where the girl tried to kill him, he embarrasses her, and then fucking gets on the bed and starts dancing around like, ha 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 ha. And I would do it because my bed is literally right here, but there's a ceiling fan and I don't want to hit my head or get my hand hit by this fucking fan. But it was very interesting. It's just like showing that that's how his personality is. He just likes fucking with people. Although they did troll the hell out of Izaya this episode. I mean, like, him thinking, well, I wonder how people are going to react to me being stabbed. And, like, nobody either noticed or gave a shit. It was funny as hell. The only person I think who noticed was Seiji's sister. And all her response was, well, at least I got a few days off now, I guess. Da-da-da-da-da. And you're just like, wow. It's like, I have never seen a main character that fucking irrelevant. And then we have Masaomi. We only see him for a little bit, contemplating how he's going to reapproach, which is going to be kind of annoying considering we know Mikado's issues. We know what Mikado's about to do. Everything he's going to do now from this point forward is going to be whatever means necessary to make sure the dollars are purged. Which realistically, I don't even think... I mean, I think we kind of got to come to the realization that you will never be able to fully purge a group. Like, I think, and I don't know if Mikado realizes it or not, but this also gets into the Dark Mikado stuff, which I know some people like, some people hate. I already know I'm not going to like it. I might be okay with it, but I probably won't like it. Because, you know, I knew Mikado has to have this. As a character, he needed this because he was the way too good guy of all the characters. Like, literally, every single character, he's like way too good. And for him to be a main character, that doesn't really work. So he has to be pseudo bad, disturbed on some level. The extent of how far it goes, it just depends. So, we'll see how Mikado turns out by the end of this part. Even though this isn't the last part, this will pretty much give us a definitive look at how Mikado's changed. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to talk about. I don't know what happened to Sloan. I guess Sloan might be dead. I don't know, because they haven't addressed him. And then in the ending, you see two new characters, which is the guy holding up Izaya's sisters, and then like the girl who's kicking him. And you're like, I don't recognize either of you two. Where are you two from? And you're and considering you're in relation to the Izaya sisters, I'm like, and we still don't know what the fuck Izaya sisters do. Because I don't understand how Akabashi's just like, oh man, yeah, I kinda can hang out with you. And we also know that Rory and What is Shizuo's brother's name? I want to say Yuhei. It might be Yuhei. Yeah, I think it is Yuhei Himajiwa. We know that Rui and Yuhei are going to be relevant again, which I thought they were going to be, because you can't just introduce those two and have them have their little thing and then it just go off in the sunset and shit. So I know they'll come back up also because we still don't know what Ruri is. Like, we know that Ruri is not human, and we know there's a problem with Ruri. We also know that Ruri wants to kill Yodogiri, but didn't. Meaning, Yodogiri, I guess, has some major shit. Either has some shit on her, or has a major fucking ability that is not even close to being dealt with. So I'm curious how that's gonna go. I figured Anri and Akabayashi are cool because she's the one who was kind of taking care of Akane. The fact that Izaya's sisters are cool with that, or with him, confuses the fuck out of me because I didn't realize they knew each other. I don't know how they know each other, actually. So this episode was primarily set up, but it's also kind of reconfirming some things about Izaya's character and just setting up a lot of plot points. I know the next episode will be primarily focused on like Mika, Seiji, Mikado, and probably Seiji's sister, who, to be perfectly honest, is probably my least favorite character out of the entire group. And granted, I don't like Seiji that much either. Seiji's fucking... Like, I don't care for that fan. I don't care. Those are the characters I don't care the least about. But at the same time, I like to see them get more airtime and get fleshed out a little bit more. Maybe Seiji's sister will die because no one gives a shit about her. But I've noticed they don't really kill main characters. Unless Sloane is dead, and that'd be... Whatever. Anyways, that's just my personal thoughts and opinions on it. So please leave yours in the comment section below, and look forward to more reviews every single Saturday. Happy 4th of July. Hope you Americans are partying hard and blowing up shit, which I'll be doing tonight. Splatoon players, Splatface, get your game on. And everybody else, enjoy your day. It's the weekend. It's summer. Baby, baby! Actually, I realize that won't make sense if people haven't heard that. Fuck it. Last gameplay to win. I'll catch you guys later. Peace off!